Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Thursday, May 7th, 2015, around 7:30 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun's going down, it's warm. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a backdoor cold front in the area, so it could be a little cooler. But the weekend looks fine. We could make a run on 90 on Mother's Day. Some news to report. No Red Sox games tonight, so they can't win or they can't lose. Also, the WWE is going to produce a Blu-ray DVD of the career of the late great Owen Hart. That should be good. And also, Livingstone's Deli and Seafood is open on Boston Road in Billerica, Massachusetts, Route 3A at the old Chris's Ice Cream place, which eventually became DJ's Ice Cream for a couple of years before they went out of business in 2013. That's about it on the news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is a continuation series of the personality profiles of Stanley Cup winning goaltenders. I have now reached the Stanley Cup winning goaltender in 1990 from the Edmonton Oilers, Bill Ranford. Bill Ranford had a 15-year career in the NHL. He played for so many teams, but he's famous for being in net for the Oilers, winning the last Stanley Cup they won in 1990. Bill was born in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada, but he grew up in New Westminster, British Columbia. He started figure skating at a young age, but eventually he decided to play hockey and become goaltender, and he played for many junior Canadian teams in Canada. He played junior hockey for the New Westminster Bruins of the Western Hockey League, which is one of the top hockey leagues in Canada. He was drafted by the Boston Bruins in the third round of the 1985 amateur draft, and he actually spent a couple of years in the Bruins system, going back and forth between the minor leagues and the Bruins. He played half the team's games in 1986-87, playing 41 games, and he was decent enough, but he wasn't like a consistent number one goaltender the Bruins have hoped for. He shared time with the Bruins with Doug Keynes and a couple of others. They shipped him back down to minor leagues in 1987, and when the Bruins needed a number one goaltender, they traded Andy Moog for Bill Ranford to the Oilers in 1988, and then Bill Ranford backed up one of the best goaltenders in the NHL history, Grant Fuhrer, for a few years. He won a Stanley Cup in 1988 as like Grant Fuhrer's backup, and Bill was destined to be like a career backup, but when Grant Fuhrer was busted for a drug suspension in the NHL in the middle of the 1989-90 season, Bill got his chance to shine and become the Oilers' number one goaltender. He had an awesome playoff series, Stanley Cup playoff run in 1990. He led the Oilers to the Stanley Cup championship, their fifth and final one, beating the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup finals. Bill Ranford had an awesome series against the Bruins and stuff like that. As the old WBZ sports anchor Bob Lobel probably said, "Why can't we get players like that?" And Bill Ranford became like a kind of a workhorse for the Oilers for many years in goaltending. Eventually, the Oilers became one of the worst teams in the NHL, but Ranford continued to play goal for them, and he was decent, but they lost a lot of games. Bill Ranford also played in the 1991 Canada Cup, and he was named the Canada Cup MVP, and he also played in the World Championships for Canada in 1994 and stuff. But by like 1996, the Oilers traded Bill Ranford back to the Boston Bruins because it got a new goaltender, Curtis Joseph, and then Bill Ranford bounced around from the Bruins to the Capitals to the Lightning to the Red Wings and back to the Oilers when he retired after the 1999-2000 season. And Bill Ranford's had 5 seasons where he won 20 or more games, but he only had 2 seasons when he had an under 3 goals against average and stuff. That's not really good. He never played in the All-Star game, was never was named to like an NHL postseason All-Star team first or second season. He was never even a finalist for the Vezina Trophy and stuff. The only major award he won in the NHL was like the Conn Smythe Award in 1990. And his career stats were 240 wins, 279 losses, 76 ties, a 3.41 goals against average, and 15 shutouts. In the playoffs, he had a record of 28 and 25, 3.07 goals against average, and 4 shutouts. Basically, 16 out of his 28 wins he had in the playoffs came in 1990 with the Oilers and stuff like that. And his stats were like not that impressive because he was an under 500 goaltender and stuff. And he had kind of a high goals against average, and he wasn't a shutout goaltender. He's never been considered for the Hockey Hall of Fame when his name was mentioned because he was like a mediocre goaltender at best. Bill Ranford, who only had basically the 1990 Stanley Cup playoff Conn Smythe as award for leading the Oilers to the last Stanley Cup as probably his crowning achievement in the NHL, and he's never been considered in the Hall of Fame. Then he went into coaching, goaltender coaching. He coached for 2 years in the Western Hockey League with the Vancouver Giants junior hockey, and then since 2006, Bill Ranford has been the goaltender coach of the LA Kings. He got his name on the Stanley Cup 2 more times as a goaltender coach, 2012 and 2014. To sum it all up, with like Bill Ranford's career, he was probably one of those goaltenders that if he was on, like, if the Oilers continued their dynasty after like 1990, he could have followed in the lines of like Andy Morgan, Grant Fuhrer as like maybe the next big goaltender in Oilers history that could have been seriously Hall of Fame consideration. But the Oilers just fell on hard times, and he ended up with a lot of losses during those years in Edmonton after they lost big names and stuff. So his career in the NHL was probably mediocre, except that playoff run in 1990. They had to beat the Boston Bruins, but those things happen. And that's about it on this video blog. This is about it on these video blogs for tonight. Back tomorrow, you're going to get 3 more video blogs. First video blog will be about the top 10 players in Charlotte Hornets / Bobcats history, which will include Hornets players from 1988 through 2002 and the current variation of the Hornets from 2004 to right now, which they spend the first 10 years as the Bobcats. The second video blog of the day will be about one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling history, the Midnight Express, and tell you about the variations of them. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about a continuation on Stanley Cup winning goaltenders. We reach Mike Richter, who was the netminder to lead the Rangers to win the 1994 Stanley Cup, the first Ranger team to win the Cup in 54 years. That's good. I tell them about that. And you're going to get more great video blogs in the days, weeks, and months ahead. More personality profiles of Stanley Cup winning goaltenders, and more top 10 list of greatest NBA players, team by team by team. All of them will be to be mentioned. And maybe we'll get some more for more places in Billerica like Max 2 and J Pacific and other stuff and more. Be back tomorrow, and in the words of Peter Courtney, who used to work at hot inks in the maintenance department. Are you writing a book? Good night. Bye now.